it's Max, and today I'm here with my mid-year book freakout tag. So every year I see this tag going around and I always want to do it because I love it. I think it's so good. I think it's so much fun. And so I'm just gonna get into it. I think the creator is no longer on BookTube, but I will leave Kayla from Booksandlala's video down below because I took a couple of her questions along with the other questions. So the first one is, how many books have you read this year? I have currently read 155 books. At the time of filming this, when it's actually posted, I have planned to read a lot more. I'm currently in the middle of the Newts Readathon, and I'm so excited to continue. I've been having a great time already. Definitely go check out my vlogs if you'd like, or my TBR to see what I'm planning on reading this month. So let's just get on with the real questions. So the first one is the best book you've read in 2020. So this one is kind of tied with a different one, but that's gonna come up a little bit later and I'll bring it and I'll mention it. But that is, of course, Crescent City, The House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This almost kind of surprised me because I had been hearing so many people being like, it's so hard to get through the first like 200 pages or first half, which is like 400 pages, that you've just got to slog through it. And I'm like, this was amazing. I loved every single bit of it. I don't know, maybe because I'm so used to really long adult fantasy that I'm like, okay, 200 pages of a little bit of like world building and stuff. I'm like, it's not my issue. It's not an issue that I have. I'm like, great, give me that good world building. And so I really loved it. And so I don't know, I know people say that, and if you're not used to adult fantasy, you might have an issue with it. You might think it is slow, but I didn't have an issue with that at all. I thought it was so much fun. I thought it was so good. The last 200 pages of this is some of the best writing, some of the best storytelling, some of the best climax reading that I have ever had, and I think it was absolutely phenomenal. The second question is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? And besides series that I'm reading one a month, I haven't read a lot of sequels, especially a lot of sequels that I've liked. But the one that I did really enjoy was Heart of Flames by Nikki Pau-Preto. This is the sequel to Crown of Feathers, which was absolutely one of my favorite books last year. I absolutely loved it. I love phoenixes. I loved our main character, and that did not change in this. This is big. It was like 600 and something pages, and I was reading it during a reading slump in April, and I was really slogging through. I was having a really hard time, and then I picked this up at the end of April, and it just blew me away. I absolutely loved it. I definitely recommend this series. I can't wait for the third one. This is about a girl, sorry, I didn't explain Crescent City either, but I think most people know what Crescent City is. But this is about these two sisters who are kind of like on the run, and you don't really know why. But they're trying to hatch a phoenix egg, and there was this war between two queens, and the one who was against phoenixes and animal mages won. And so if you're an animal mage, which is like you can connect with animals, you're hunted. And so they are trying to hatch a phoenix egg. But our main character really wants to be a phoenix writer. And so when something happens and the two sisters break apart, she goes and she pretends to be a boy to become a phoenix writer. This was so good. I really, really loved it. I didn't like it as much as the first book, but I did really, really enjoy this. And I think I enjoy the romance, I enjoy the friendships, and I just really had a really good time, and I definitely suggest this series. So for the most anticipated read for the rest of 2020, I'm going with Memory of Souls by Jen Lyons. This is going with the first book, which it was tied with Crescent City to be my favorite book, Ruin of Kings, but I cannot wait for the third one. I have an arc of it, and by the time this goes up, I'm in the middle of it, I think. I planned out all of my reading, and that will be the book that I'm reading currently. And I'm so excited. I got the arc off of NetGalley and freaked out. And I just cannot wait to pick it up. I love this series. I loved the first one. The second one could have been for best sequel, but I'm trying to just limit myself to like one book series per question. But I did really enjoy it, not as much, even though the main character I loved. But I definitely suggest this series. Please pick it up. It's so good. And it's about these people who are part of a prophecy that is supposedly, when they complete the prophecy, they destroy the world. And so the first book followed one of the people of the prophecy, and the second book followed a different one of the prophecy during the same time period. So I'm hoping the third one is now going forward, and I can't wait. Number 5 is your biggest disappointment, and unfortunately for me, this year was the Dresden Files series as a whole. I've only only read the first 7 and I've decided not to continue. This was just, I wanted to love this so bad. I loved Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher, which I read last year. Please read it. Best series that I read last year. It was so, so good and I adored it. But this series just was not great. It was very misogynistic, and Harry, I get that this is supposed to be, like, he calls himself out on it and people call him out on it, but he's like, I know that like women can do stuff, but like I want to be the hero, and I'm like, please stop. The first book he was just awful, but I'd purchased the next 2, so I was like, okay, just gotta get through the 3 and then I can be done. And then I enjoyed the 2nd and 3rd a lot more, and so I continued. But then after the character development that Harry had in the between the first book and second book, he stays completely stagnant, even goes a little downhill, and it just didn't work for me, and I'm so bummed because I just wanted to love this because I adored the Codex Alera series. Okay, the next question is the biggest surprise, and for this I'm going with The Rune of Kings by Jen Lyons. I guess I am talking about the same series in 2 questions, but honestly I don't have a bigger anticipated read than Memory of Souls, so, but this is a placeholder for Rune of Kings because it's at my dad's house and I'm at my mom's house, but it's so good. Please read it. It does take a while because there's a lot of footnotes, kind of like Nevernight, like that sort of thing. There are a lot of footnotes, but it's so, so good. I love Kieran. I love him so much. He's like my baby. And Pierre Ford calls him a disaster bisexual, and I think that's perfect, and it's like the best descriptor of people I've like ever heard. And he's so, I just love him. This poor kid is like, wait, I'm a noble, which is not a spoiler. It happens in like the first, not even 100 pages, because that's like what spurs the whole plot on. But he's like, I'm just like this musician's son, and then it was like, wait, no, I can't be a noble. And then he's thrown into just all these court politics, and he's just my baby, and I love him. And please read it, it's so good. For favorite new author, I am going with Tamora Pierce, because I have read a book of hers a month for the whole year, and I have enjoyed all of them. I loved this first quartet, which is the Song of the Lioness quartet. This one is probably my least favorite of the series. No, I think the 3rd one is my least favorite. But the first 2 I gave like 5 out of 5 stars, and the other 2 was like a 4 out of 5 stars. But I really enjoy her writing. I really enjoy her world. I think they're planning on doing a TV show of the Tortall world, or it's kind of like in the works, or the rights have been purchased, something, and I'm so excited. I think it'd be really good as either animated or live action, but I am so excited to see where this goes. I just finished the last book in the 2nd quartet, and so I enjoyed both of them, and so I know, I'm like, okay, I've read 8 books by Tamora Pierce. I know that she is now an auto-buy author for me. I'm currently reading just all of her books, a book a month, until I've caught up, and I'm just so excited to continue. For the newest fictional crush, I'm going with Anna Lightwood from the Lost Hours series. Something about Chain of Gold? Chain of Gold. I love Anna Lightwood. I think she's amazing. I think she's so great. She's just so cool, and she's like the opposite of a disaster bisexual. She's like got it all put together. She's so on top of her shit, and she's just so confident in who she is, and she's so sweet. And honestly, I kind of ship her with Cordelia instead of Cordelia and James, and I'm like, but no, she's supposed to be with someone else whose name I can't remember, nor do I think, Ariadne, who we don't really know that well in the first book, but I liked her well enough. But Anna is my life. I also love Janella in The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. I think she's phenomenal as well. Okay, for a book that made you cry, I rarely cry in books, but this book, the last, like the climax onwards, made me sob, and that's The Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Reimer, something. This book kind of came out of left field and just surprised the hell out of me. This tells dual perspectives of this woman and her grandmother. And her grandmother is in Nazi-occupied Poland trying to escape. And our main character, her grandmother's dying, and she is sent to Poland to try and find out about her history. And it was so good. The book as a whole was phenomenal, but the ending just broke me. I was crying so hard by the end. It was phenomenal. So, so good. Please read it. It's historical fiction. There's absolutely no fantasy to it, but it was so, so good and just heart-wrenching and just beautiful. For a book that made you happy, I'm going with Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins, I think, and Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. So I got to LA. I was in LA this past semester, and I got to LA, and my best friend and I went to the library, and I got these two books and just sat down and just read them. Back to back. I just ended one and picked up the next because they were so good and so cute. Prince Charming is about this girl whose sister gets engaged to the crown prince of, I can't remember if it's a fictional country or it's just England, but not really. And so she goes to England to like help her sister plan the wedding, and she is kind of, people are like sent to kind of like keep her in control, and she falls in love, or like, you know, the romance is between her and this guy who's a little bit of a stick in the mud, but then they like, you know, change, and it was so cute. And then Her Royal Highness is the prince who is getting married, his sister, and she's at boarding school and she's gay. She's closeted. She's kind of secretly gay, but then she like falls for her roommate, and that's hate to love, and it was so good. They were both just so cute. For question 11, it is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought this year? And I'm going with Upon a Burning Throne by Ashok K. Banker. This is gorgeous. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I love purple, and so the purple and kind of the green turquoise, and it's just like, it's absolutely stunning. I just think it's just gorgeous. I think everything about this is just gorgeous. I mean, this just is definitely what appealed to me when I first saw it in Barnes & Noble like months ago in hardcover, and I was like, wow, I want it so bad. But then I didn't pick it up till it was paperback, and I didn't even know what it was about. I didn't even realize it was a retelling of the Mahabharata, so I am so excited to pick this up. I took an intro to Hinduism class my freshman year of college, and we read passages of the Mahabharata and watched like films of parts of the Mahabharata, and I just fell in love with the story, and I am so excited to pick this up. Okay, for the penultimate question, question 12, what is a book that you have to read by the end of the year? And okay, I don't have to read anything. I just read for fun, but I have to go with Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer because I just like, you know, I've been waiting for it since like 2008. I remember when like everyone was waiting for Edward's point of view to come out, and then someone leaked it, and it was like, oh no. But then I read those pages of Edward's that Stephanie Meyer put online, which I want to say was like the first 100 pages, something. And oh my gosh, I reread that so many times because Twilight is probably my most reread book, because after I first read it, I would reread it like whenever I just wanted to, especially before every movie came out. I'd reread Twilight, and I just loved it. And I know it does not withstand the test of time. Okay, I know, I get it, it's not good, but it's what really got me into reading and just absolutely adoring young adult and vampires and fantasy. And so, you know, I owe it that, and I'm just so pumped for Midnight Sun. I pre-ordered it, and like it was supposed to come yesterday, and it hasn't, and I'm bitter about it. But definitely look out for a review video and probably a vlog. It might just be in like a weekly vlog. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a weekly vlog of it, like just put in my regular weekly vlog, or do like a specific vlog for it. Let me know what you'd prefer, but I'm probably thinking weekly vlog and then just have like a review video for it. But I'm so excited. I know it's not gonna be good, okay, I know, but it's probably gonna be the trash that I just need in my life. And then for the last question, mention a favorite BookTube community member. And I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Please tell me if I am and how to pronounce your name. But it's Rana Najar. She is amazing. She's one of my new friends on BookTube, and she's just so great. She leaves wonderful comments on all my videos, and her videos are so great. I will leave her link down below, so definitely go check her out as well, because she's just so great and I love her. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!